Hare Krishna. So, I am honestly speaking, I am very fearful to speak in front of all senior God brothers and God sisters. And uh, my experience, I am speaking to devotees who are in touch with Guru Maharaj maybe before my birth. They were in touch with Guru Maharaj since that time. So, you know Guru Maharaj much more better than me. So please bless me that whatever little experience I have, I can share for my own purification. Actually, my first trip with Guru Maharaj was to South Africa. So I have very deep connection with South Africa. And it so happened that that was my first foreign tour outside India. So I was not very aware of uh, what is visa procedure and like how long it takes and how serious it is. So Guru Maharaj told me in Mayapur that next week we'll go to South Africa. There was like a weekday, 10 days, something like that in between. So I was confident that maybe like purchase a ticket in the same way we can get a visa also. So I applied for a visa and I was confident that uh, I'll get a visa. So Guru Maharaj was asking me every other day that, did you get your visa? I said, Guru Maharaj, I'll get it. So I was very confident about it. But till last moment, I didn't get my visa. And we reached Mumbai, and next day we were supposed to go to South Africa, and my visa didn't come. So in night, Guru Maharaj again asked, so did you get your visa? I said, no, Guru Maharaj, maybe by tomorrow I'll get. So Guru Maharaj became very angry. He said, do you understand that I booked your ticket, you're supposed to go with me and you didn't get visa as yet and tomorrow we have to leave. So then Guru Maharaj called somebody in South Africa, I'm not sure, he is in some embassy or something, a big minister. Then Guru Maharaj called him, then he called in Indian, South African embassy in India. Then they issued visa in night. In morning, one devotee received it and he took flight from Delhi to Mumbai. And then he gave me passport just 2 hours before we left for airport. So Guru Maharaj made it possible in one night. So I was thinking that, I have no qualification to serve Guru Maharaj, but it is Guru Maharaj's causeless mercy that he is arranging everything for me. And so that's how I could travel to South Africa first time. And I could see the deep relation between devotees of South Africa and Guru Maharaj. Like everybody knows Guru Maharaj so deeply and they know exactly how to serve Guru Maharaj. Like when I first came, Himanga Chaitanya Prabhu was there, he told me that now you're in South Africa, you will not serve Guru Maharaj, you will just assist others who will serve Guru Maharaj. So I could see the way Jagdanand Pandit Prabhu and other senior devotees were serving Guru Maharaj. I learned a lot from there. So today I was reflecting on Guru Maharaj's Pranam mantra, Snigdha Cheta Supraneta Vagminam Charasaplutam Prabhupada Gata Prana Naumi Bhakti Charupadam. So how each aspect of Guru Maharaj, how each dealing, how his speech, how his personality actually exemplifies each of these words. So one by one, I would like to share these words and some of the pastimes, recollections which I'll get related to that aspect. Like first is Snigdha Cheta. How Guru Maharaj was so soft-hearted. He was always concerned how to encourage devotees, how to help them so that they feel more and more enthusiastic to serve Srila Prabhupada. Like I remember when in childhood we used to come to Ujjain, we were little children and there were less devotees at that time because temple was new. Gurma used to give a lot of encouragement. He used to sit with us. He used to even say, "Oh, what are your grades like in school?" And he used to encourage us to play sports and other things. So one time we came from our college, and there was Kirtan Mela scheduled in Ujjain. So Gurmash called us and told, actually, one devotee came in Mangalarti and told me that Gurma is calling you and your friend to his room. And that was first time I think Gurumaj called me like that to his office, and that too after Mangalarti. And I heard from other senior devotees that when Gurumaj calls after Mangalarti, that means something serious. Either you made some mistake or something serious. So I was wondering what mistake I did. And the devotee told you and your friend, but we were three of us. So I said, why I will get chastisement alone? Let three of us go. So I said, okay, all three will go. So me and two other friends, and we went in Gurumaj's office, offered our obeisances, and Gurumaj said, you sit. So first time we sat in front of Gurumaj on chair, and Gurumaj was talking. He said, my two godbrothers are coming, Bhakti Bringa Govinda Maharaj and Chandramauli Maharaj. So I would like you to serve them. So he told me, you can serve Bibi Govinda Maharaj, and he told one of my friend to serve Chandramauli Maharaj. Now there was third devotee who was left, and Gurma said, okay, you can serve me. So although there's so many servants of Gurmaj in Ujjain and we were like students, but Gurma said with three of us, none of us should feel neglected. So Gurma told him that you can serve me. So that was like first my experience, personal experience, that how Guruma is so personal, so encouraging. His heart is so soft. He can't see anybody being discouraged. Like when I was serving Guru Maharaj, and they were like, I was also taking care of initiation candidates. So one time there were initiation in Kanpur, and there's some candidates proposed for first and second initiation. So there was particular candidate from Bangladesh who didn't know English, who didn't know Hindi. So my communication with him was very difficult. So he told me something in Bengali I couldn't understand. Then he gave me a recommendation letter that his temple president recommended him for second initiation. So I thought he got recommendation letter, he got Bhakti Shastri certificate. So I put his name, but I couldn't really communicate with him. So when the final day of initiation came, it was in the middle of GBC meetings, the midterm meetings in Kanpur. So Gurmaj came after first session and he was very tired. The yajna happened, and then the devotee came in front, and Gurmaj asked him to read the mantra, and he couldn't read even a single word. Gurmaj was so angry, so angry. And Gurmaj said, tell me Mangla Charan. He couldn't read even Mangla Charan. Then Gurumaj became angry on me. He said, how can you just put anybody's name? And he was very angry. So he said, I'll not initiate you. So that devotee, disheartened, he went out of the room. And then Gurumaj didn't take prasad, although it was fasting, it was Dashera day. Gurumaj didn't take prasad. He went in the next session of GBC meeting, which was at 3 o'clock. So when Gurumaj went to the next session, I also became relaxed. I kind of locked Gurumaj's room and I was roaming here and there. After 1 hour, Gurumaj called me. So Gurumaj said, where are you? So I asked Gurumaj, I'm in the temple. He said, I'm in front of my room. So I rushed back. I opened the room, and Gurumaj went in and sat on his chair and said, where is the devotee from Bangladesh? I am feeling so heavy that I chastised him, and he sat in the yajna, but I didn't initiate him. So call him. Although I was sitting in GBC meeting, nothing was going in my head. So I came back from meeting. So Guru Maharaj told like that. I was searching. Now this devotee was not having Indian number. I was searching everywhere. Guru Maharaj was waiting for him. Guru Maharaj again called. Where is he? I said, Guru Maharaj, I'm searching. Then finally I got him in the temple room. I told him Guru Maharaj wants to see you. And then Guru Maharaj finally initiated him and told him that, see, now you're Brahmana, now you study, and now you have to preach and things. But then, like, how much sensitive Guru Maharaj is. He's in the middle of meetings. He didn't take prasad since morning till 4 o'clock in the evening. But his his more attention was to this devotee from Bangladesh who apparently was a very simple devotee. But then Guru Maharaj preferred him over the GBC meetings. So that way, Guru Maharaj is always so sensitive how devotees will feel, how they should be encouraged. Like in D-Land, one time we were in one dealer shop and we were purchasing one car. So Guru Maharaj was not, due to some reason, Guru Maharaj wanted to purchase it on somebody else's name. So that Mataji was standing right there, and Guru Maharaj told the dealer that I would like to purchase it on her name. So the dealer told, see, she may be your employee, and tomorrow if she runs away with the car, what you will do? And Guru Maharaj immediately corrected that dealer. No, she is my daughter. So as emphatically Guru Maharaj told, that owner was completely silent, and then that Mataji was so much touched that Guru Maharaj told like that. So Guru Maharaj is always concerned like that. One time, again in Orlando, Guru Maharaj taught us how to make pesto sauce with basil leaves and pine nuts. So we used to make it for Guru Maharaj every day, and so that was the third day. Somehow it didn't come out very. Yeah, it was not up to the mark. So Guru Maharaj kind of corrected, you can say chastised. He said, I taught you personally and you forgot and this, and you put basil leaves more. And so I kind of noted that, how much to put and things. And it was in dinner. So after Prashad, Guru Maharaj went and took rest. And since I was not feeling hungry, I also went and took rest. So in early morning, Guru Maharaj comes in room and he wakes me up and he says, why didn't you take pesto pasta yesterday? I said, Guru Maharaj, I was not hungry. He said, no, since I chastised you, therefore you didn't take prasad in night. So I said, no, Guru Maharaj, I was not feeling hungry. He said, no, I know. I chastised you, therefore you didn't take. So now you should take prasad. It was early morning. I didn't take bath also. The Guru Maharaj said, no, now you should take prasad. And then after, this is April 2019. And when I came back to Ujjain, maybe September 2019, before Vyas Puja, one day after Prashad, Guru Maharaj just rang his bell. Like this was after 5 months. Guru Maharaj just rang his bell. I went in and Guru Maharaj said, one thing hurts me often. That once you made some pasta for me and I chastised you and you didn't take your dinner. So never skip your prasad if I chastise you. So I was like, I became so emotional. I said, Guru Maharaj, actually, we can't imagine this kind of love, and if you'll not tell us how to do things, we have no hope. So Guru Maharaj said, still, when I chastise, I know it is very heavy. So never mind when I chastise like that. So Guru Maharaj is always so sensitive, and he knew how to encourage different devotees, whether it be by prasad, whether it be by class, by exact kirtan, which devotees like. He know how to deal with different people. Like once Devkinandan Prabhu was saying that Guru Maharaj exactly knows how to touch a man on the street and a prince in a palace. He knows the technique, how to touch them. Like one time, uh, there was one Mataji who recently shifted from India to New York. So Gurma stayed in her home, and her daughter studies in one college. So as per the rules of the university, she has to stay in the college hostel. So naturally, there she is not getting prasad and like good Indian food. So Guru Maharaj, when he again went to New York, before that, he said, we take an extra bag. So I took an extra bag, and then Guru Maharaj put in all kinds of things like lasagna sheets, cheese, and so many things. Guru Maharaj filled whole bag of food. So I was wondering, generally Guru Maharaj doesn't carry that, all these things for his own prasad, because wherever he goes, he likes to take prasad which devotees cook for him. But then Guru Maharaj was carrying all these noodles and sprouts and different vegetables and lasagna sheets and so many things. And finally, we went to New York, and Guru Maharaj personally cooked lasagna and different items and even cupcakes. And then Guru Maharaj sent her to her hostel, that girls' hostel, and she became so happy that Guru Maharaj sent her so much prasad. And Guru Maharaj told her on phone, see, this prasad will stay for 2 days, this will stay for a week, this cupcakes can stay longer. So you can take this one first, this one second. And the mother and daughter both were practically crying that how can Guru Maharaj, in midst of so much pressure, so much hectic schedules, so many GBC responsibilities, preaching schedules, how he can take care of such fine details. And he know exactly what is the need of a devotee. Like sometimes while serving Guru Maharaj, my mind used to drift away, I used to be disturbed. And at many times, like I have experienced that Guru Maharaj exactly catch, like where, he wants to correct me or touch me. Like one time I was cleaning the tiles in front of the house in Orlando using pressure washer. So I started at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was cleaning it already 6:30. So I was wondering that today I could not chant, and now whole day I'll serve Guru Maharaj. I have to go market with him. I have to do this. I have to do that. When will I chant my rounds? So as I was thinking that, Guru Maharaj came out with his bead bag in his hand, and he said, Krishna Kishore, how many rounds did you chant today? I said, Guru Maharaj, I didn't chant till now. He said, you can clean it afterwards. First you chant. So exactly what I was thinking, Guru Maharaj just caught me right there. Then same day, after Guru Maharaj's lunch, I was washing the pots. Once I cleansed all the pots, I was mopping them with a cloth and then arranging them in shelf. So after I did a few pots, I was thinking that what type of country is this? There are no devotees, less manpower. If it would be India, there would be so many people to help me. And then Guru Maharaj comes out of his room and says, and this is what I was thinking in my mind. So Guru Maharaj comes out and says, you do all this service alone today, I'll help you. I said, Guru Maharaj, no, I'll do it. No, 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 I'll help you. And Guru Maharaj picks up another cloth and start mopping the pots which I washed. So I said, no, Guru Maharaj, I'll do. No, you do half, I'll do half. So like that, exactly whatever was going on in my mind, Guru Maharaj was like catching it and encouraging me further, like curing my disease. Another day, devotees were painting Guru Maharaj's roof, and Guru Maharaj's car was standing in next to the building. And somehow enthusiastically they were painting the roof, and they didn't, they never thought that the paint will go on the car, and that whole paint somehow fell on the car. So everybody was, so there were two devotees painting, and I came from inside. Three of us started to clean it, but since that was sticky paint, and no way we could hide it from Guru Maharaj. After some time, Guru Maharaj came and he saw. And Guru Maharaj also started to clean, taking one cloth and water. He was also cleaning. So somehow we were cleaning for a long time, but that has to be done meticulously each point. So it took long time. And the devotees, those two devotees left, and I was left alone cleaning. The same thought came to my mind that if it was India, then I would have just told somebody that some simple brahmacharis would have came and they must have cleaned the car. But then I have to do it all alone. Then Guru Maharaj again comes and again catches me and he says that Krishna, you should don't worry. When you go back to India, you don't have to do all this. So exactly like how he understands the heart and encourages. This was so wonderful. Even when apparently Guru Maharaj may chastise, but then he knows how to encourage somebody. Like one time Guru Maharaj had some swelling in his leg. So he could not walk without support. So Guru Maharaj is sitting at one chair and he said, be around, if I need something, I'll call you. So I was around, but then in the meantime, I remembered that I put some clothes for drying and I want to bring them back because I have to iron those clothes for Guru Maharaj. So I went to pick up those clothes. In the meantime, Guru Maharaj looked for me and I was not there. So then when I came back, Guru Maharaj chastised me that you can see my condition, I need you. Even if I have to drink water, I have to search you and I have to wait for you. So Guru Maharaj was not very happy that I was not present. So I was silent. And after some time, Guru Maharaj wanted to go back to his room. He needed support. So I was there, and Guru Maharaj was putting his hand on my shoulder and he was walking. So while walking, he said, uh, so we fought and now we are friends. So, so he is like always like sensing how devotees should not feel disheartened because heart is very soft. And that makes him a perfect leader, Supraneta. He is perfect leader. How a leader should behave with his subjects, how a leader should behave with his team, how a leader should behave with his superiors. Guru Maharaj perfectly depicts in each and every aspect of his dealings. Like when we used to serve in D-Land, sometimes it was very hot. Florida sun is very, very hot. So Gurma used to stand with us all the time, like since morning 6 o'clock service used to start, and sometimes with short breaks for lunch and like for washing clothes and things. The seva used to go sometimes till 9 o'clock in the night. So Gurma used to be there on the field practically all the time. And he used to guide, encourage, and he used to perfectly like this row of flowers is little bit tilted. So again do it, and Gurmaj will be there with the measuring tape. And he had all the equipments of his own, like gloves, he had his own pliers, his own clippers, he had his own shovel, everything of his own. He has big high boots to go in the field. All the time Guruma used to be there. And when he used to see that devotees are getting tired, of course, Gurumaj, if you say externally, Gurumaj was 75 years of age, and we all were like 20, 25, 30 maximum. So Gurma used to see that we are tired. So he used to go in kitchen. Sometimes he used to make lemon water. Sometimes he used to make lassi and bring in a jug and a glass in a cup. And then he used to put in cup and give to one devotee and say, drink. Then the devotee will drink. Then Guru will take this cup. Then again fill, then give to another devotee, drink. So like that, Guru Maharaj was always encouraging. Although we are supposed to serve him, but apparently he was encouraging us or serving us. So that way Guru Maharaj was having such perfect fine dealings. Like I remember once in Mayapur in Kirtan Mela, it was Adivas Kirtan, and Guru Maharaj was the first one to lead. Like they put Guru Maharaj's name to start the Kirtan Mela. So Guru Maharaj came exactly in time. He was sitting there in the temple room, and there were some Gurukul boys who were already doing kirtan there. So Guru Maharaj didn't go in the front; he was sitting at the back. So Gurukul boys didn't see Guru Maharaj. So one of them at one point just saw that Guru Maharaj already arrived. So he informed the leading kirtanya that Guru Maharaj is there, and they immediately stopped kirtan, offered their obeisances to Guru Maharaj, and left. The Guru Maharaj had beautiful kirtan session. He sang Jadi Gaur Na Hui To, And for 1 hour he sang. Whole temple room was dancing. All devotees were ecstatic. So after that, he went upstairs and he said, "Can you quickly go and search those Gurukul boys?" So I went down, I saw in temple room they were already gone. I came up, Guru Maharaj, they're already gone. So Guru Maharaj said, "Oh, I just realized that they were singing such beautiful kirtan, and because they saw me, they had to stop singing kirtan. So I am sending this note. You go and give to them that, Guru Maharaj mentioned that I am very sorry that you had to stop kirtan because of me." So how, like, here is one, ISKCON leader, a GBC, a guru, and it was his slot to sing, and he's asking forgiveness from some teenage boys who were leading kirtan in the temple. So that's how Gurma showed how a perfect leader should behave. Like when he used to go to New York, there's so many disciples of Gurmaj in New York area and New Jersey area. At one point, Gurmaj had to stay for 4 or 5 days for Rath Yatra program and other program in New York. So devotees were picking him up, dropping and doing this service. But then Gurmaj second or third day, Gurmaj said, "No, don't call anybody. Let's take Uber." So I told Guru Maharaj that devotee is ready, he is supposed to come. He said, "No, no, tell him not to come because he has to drive 1.5 hours from his house to our place. Then he has to take me to the program. Then he has to attend whole program. Then again drop me back and then again go his home. So why to waste his whole day? He can directly come to the program, attend and go back. So let's take Uber." So next 3 4 days we were traveling in Uber taxi. Even like Gurumai was in Rath Yatra, all devotees were so happy. He was going around with his god brothers, Radhanath Maharaj and um, Guru Goranga Prabhu, Gurumai's god brother, and other senior devotees, proper disciples. And then after the program, he's standing on the street waiting for Uber. So Guru Maharaj showed that how he never wanted to give inconvenience to anybody. He was always concerned that devotees should not be troubled because of him. And on the other hand, he took all inconvenience to set a perfect example. Like when we shifted to D-Land, there were not proper facilities as per Guru Maharaj standards. Like there was no hot water, there was no insulation, it was already winter, and there was no light. So there was no electricity, like there were no lights in the room. So there was lamp, which were battery lit lamp, and Gurma used to use that for his work in evening. So then also Gurma stayed there just to encourage us because we were new to America and we didn't know anything. So to show us everything, he was right there on the field, taking all the austerities. Like even in Ujjain, before Gurumaj left for America, he was there 2.5 months. And it was so wonderful time that Gurumaj used to chant with devotees, he used to attend Mangalarti, he used to attend Guru Puja, he used to sing with devotees, and he used to attend Gaur Aarti sometimes. And when Chandan Yatra came, he went in altar, applied Chandan to Madan Mohan himself, and he used to give Bengali class, Hindi class, English class, then address to different yatras. Like he spoke to South African devotees also, like 2 3 times maybe. So it was a wonderful time. And then in night, one time Guru Maharaj heard that it was maybe 1:30 or 2 a.m. in morning. And Guru Maharaj heard that Kirtan sound is not coming from temple room. So Guru Maharaj told that we should have 24 hours Kirtan. So last 3 months we are having continuous 24 hours Kirtan in the temple room. Since the Corona thing, lockdown started, 3 months, continuous Kirtan. So Guru Maharaj went down and he saw that one devotee sitting alone and doing Kirtan. And that devotee never spoke to Guru Maharaj in his whole life. Never came in front of Guru Maharaj, maybe just at the time of initiation. Otherwise, never interacted with Guru Maharaj. And suddenly he saw Guru Maharaj came and Guru Maharaj asked him that, "You are alone?" He said, "Yes, Guru Maharaj." He said, "Where is your partner?" He said, "No, he couldn't come, maybe he's sleeping." So Guru Maharaj, "Today I will sing with you." Then Guru Maharaj sat with him and he was singing, Guru Maharaj repeating, Guru Maharaj singing, he's repeating. So like that, personally encouraging each and every devotee, Guru Maharaj touched everyone's heart. And he was saying, like when he was traveling to Mumbai from Ujjain, that time he was telling about one devotee whose complaint came to the GBC. He is not in contact with temple, he wants to do some separate preaching or something. So Guru Maharaj said, you see, he was not Guru Maharaj's disciple, somebody else's disciple. So Guru Maharaj said that, see, when people do something wrong, immediately the question comes, whose disciple is he? Immediately people ask, who trained him? So when you do something wrong, it will reflect bad on it. So always be cautious how you deal with devotees, how you perfectly follow the management structure, how you cooperate for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. So he was so nicely telling that. And one time in Tirupati, Guru Maharaj was speaking to his god brothers. So one devotee asked Guru Maharaj that, actually Guru Maharaj asked him that, you are from such and such place, do my disciples do groupism there? So that devotee said, no, no Maharaj, your disciples never do groupism. They're very good. Only there are some fights or misunderstandings, but that's okay. So Guru Maharaj said, when you go back, tell my disciples that I told them, if you want to be recognized as Bhakti Charu Maharaj's disciples, you should always remember Trinadapi Suni Chena Taruriva Seshnana Amanina Manadena Kirtanya Sadhari. So that's how Guru Maharaj was perfectly demonstrating what a leader is supposed to do. Always like guiding devotees perfectly, not deviating from the standards, and he himself uh, follows that. Like we know Guru Maharaj is like so pakka follower of the GBC, and how much he did for the movement. Now we are hearing for last 1.5 months practically from so many Prabhupada disciples and leaders about the matchless contributions of Guru Maharaj. And one time one devotee was telling Guru Maharaj that, Guru Maharaj, you are actually Vilambari, enemy of procrastination. You never want to procrastinate, never want to delay anything. Like Guru Maharaj says, like I never like to keep a to-do list. Whatever needs to be done, I do it immediately, and that is the secret of my, service, effective service. Like when Guru Maharaj was GBC chairman, generally every year GBC executive committee meets like every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks online. But when Guru Maharaj became chairman, he did it to every week. He said, no, whatever has to be done, we should do it immediately, no delay. So that's how Guru Maharaj is a perfect leader. And that came in his dealings when he spoke, like Vagmina, his eloquent speaker. Like one devotee was sharing that actually cameras loved Guru Maharaj. When he used to speak, many of us must have seen, when Guru Maharaj records some video, it's like just one take. He will just start speaking, and that will be like perfect shot. Guru Maharaj will cover all the important points, and the way he will speak, the way he would present things, was like so appealing. Like if he's speaking about TOVP or speaking about Mayapur or speaking about Prabhupada Memorial Festival or anything, the way Guru Maharaj spoke on camera was always so like charismatic. And the way he sang, there's no comparison to it. Like Radhanath Maharaj was telling that Bhakti Charu Maharaj's kirtans are famous in 14 planetary systems. So when Guru Maharaj sings, I had many Prabhupada disciples when I was traveling with Guru Maharaj. They used to come and they used to ask for Guru Maharaj recordings that give Sharnagati songs or give this bhajan, that bhajan. Because Guru Maharaj's singing was also so perfect. And Guru Maharaj was one time sharing in South Africa when he was in Cape Town. He was sharing that how all these songs, he composed the tunes himself. And all these ragas, all perfect tunes, he himself composed and he sang. About lectures, one time in Kuwait, Guru Maharaj did a very successful program. Maybe 2,000 people came, and he was very happy that in a Muslim country where preaching was done undercover, and he was getting such nice response. And every 5 minutes or 7 minutes, they were like continuous clapping. The crowd was so enchanted by Guru Maharaj's words. They were continuously clapping, and like there were so many questions. Guru Maharaj was so happy. So when he came back home, the host and other few devotees sitting around him were appreciating Guru Maharaj. That Guru Maharaj, your lecture is so nice. Then Guru Maharaj said, I also get astonished how things come out from my mouth. Like he was remembering that incident when Guru Maharaj was with Srila Prabhupada in Rishikesh, and how that Mayavadi sannyasi came to meet. Guru Maharaj described that in Ocean of Mercy, and how he started to preach him. And when he started to preach, his voice raised, and Prabhupada could hear. And then Prabhupada later called him and asked what you were preaching to that sadhu, and Guru Maharaj told to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada encouraged him. So Guru Maharaj is sharing that when I hear some Mayavad philosophy or any nonsense talks, my blood boils. Like I can't tolerate and all this nonsense. And Guru Maharaj is saying that, but Prabhupada encouraged me the way I preached, the way I quoted the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. And Guru Maharaj is saying that actually it is not my qualification. I could be with Srila Prabhupada and serve him only for 10 months. But those 10 months were so intimate that Prabhupada personally trained me, Prabhupada personally guided me. And then Guru Maharaj is quoting that Yogyata vichare kichu nahi paye tumar karuna sar. That personally I have no qualification, but all I have is Srila Prabhupada's mercy. So even his preaching, even his charisma, he dedicated to Srila Prabhupada. And not only that, he was always cautious, he was always adapting to the situation. Like when Guru Maharaj used to give Hindi class, he used to tell devotees sitting in front that, I am speaking to Hindi crowd on camera, so you are sitting here, just note down where I make mistakes, and then I will uh, polish my Hindi. Like what I remember in Durban, Hemanga Prabhu's house, Guru Maharaj asked me, how is my Hindi? So that time I was very shy. I could not speak to Guru Maharaj. I wanted to tell him his Hindi is very sweet, but somehow I could not tell. So Guru Maharaj said, see Hemanga, he is not answering. That means my Hindi is very bad. So Guru Maharaj is always cautious how to improve. Like one time Guru Maharaj gave Radha Ashtami lecture, and somehow he went upstairs, and when he opened his computer and saw for something he was searching, and he happened to see his own lecture on Radha Ashtami. So that day, somehow the camera angle was not that good. Guru Maharaj was not happy with the live stream. So Guru Maharaj called and said, see, just see how it is, and this is how you project me, this is how you, broadcast my classes. And he was not happy about it. So I noted it, and I said, Guru Maharaj, I'm sorry that this happened. I'll take care in future. So I went out, and then after maybe 10-15 minutes, Guru Maharaj again called me back, and he said, sit down. I said, I don't know what will come now. Already I was chastised. And that was a day of fasting. So fasting, when it is fasting, it is always a heavy day. So anyway, so I sat down, and Guru Maharaj said, I was going through lectures by others, how they speak. And I think I need to improve in my speech. So you can do one thing. When I speak, you can note down where I can improve, and then you can tell me. I said, Guru Maharaj, I can never do that. I mean, I know devotees love your lectures and they ask for your lectures. You are just, Guru Maharaj, you are perfection personified. And when I said that, then Guru Maharaj said, okay, Guru Maharaj didn't pursue that further. So how to correct? Guru Maharaj knows perfectly that his speech, he will not raise his voice and then he will chastise also. He will so lovingly speak that we'll get the correction, but we'll never have any grudge. Like in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is told for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He would correct, but nobody used to have any grudge. That is Guru Maharaj's style of correcting. Like one time in Sanford, uh, I was with Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj just asked me, you know what is service of Sitanath in Ujjain? So I was telling you, Guru Maharaj, he serves you prasad, and he cleans your room, and he cleans your bathroom. And Guru Maharaj said, yeah, and he changes my bed sheet every day. So then I realized for last 2 3 days I didn't change Guru Maharaj's bed sheet. So he didn't tell directly, but he said, in a puzzling way. He asked me what is service of, his servant in Ujjain. And that's how he reminded me that I am not doing my service properly. In a similar way, like one time Guru Maharaj asked me that, Krishna Kishore, how many vacuum cleaners do we have? So I told Guru Maharaj we have three. And I was very happy to tell that to Guru Maharaj. I said, Guru Maharaj, one we have already, and one we got from the farm, and one the previous owner left, I just found in the garage. So you have three vacuum cleaners. So Guru Maharaj said, oh, you have three vacuum cleaners, so you should use sometimes. So then, that's how I got the correction that I should be more cautious to serve Guru Maharaj. So the way he speaks, the way he'll encourage is so unique that even his chastisement, even his correction is madhuram. It's so sweet. Like one time he was telling one devotee in Calcutta, Baldev Vidyabhushan Prabhu. He was telling that last night you were massaging me, and then you kept on massaging, and then my sleep broke, and then I could not sleep all night. So why is that? So he was kind of giving excuse. He was telling that, Guru Maharaj, I couldn't realize that when you slept, and he was kind of giving excuse. So Guru Maharaj said, okay, so today when you will come to give me massage, so I will tell you that, Baldev, I am sleeping now, and now you can go. so, so he understood that I should not give excuse to Guru Maharaj. Actually, Guru Maharaj is correcting me. So he is always filled with that rasa, is madhuram. Oh, everything about Guru Maharaj is so sweet. And therefore, the next thing is rasaplutam. Rasaplutam may have two meanings. One is he relishes the mellow, or the other meaning is rasaplutam. If you make a deity of mellow, we'll get Guru Maharaj. Pluta means deity, and rasa means mellow. So Guru Maharaj's whole existence, whole personality is full of rasa. Like one time he arrived in one city. Somehow the host was not ready. So he was late at airport, and Guru Maharaj had to wait at airport. And that's the worst thing we can do to Guru Maharaj. Like Guru Maharaj once told that, I hate to keep people waiting, and the worst I hate is to be kept waiting. So 1 or 2 minutes also Guru Maharaj doesn't tolerate. But then at airport, I mean, at least for 10 15 minutes, Guru Maharaj had to stand. Finally, that host came. And she was, I mean, of course, the Mataji. So Guru Maharaj didn't tell her anything. And Guru Maharaj came with her to house. The prasad was not ready. Then Guru Maharaj has to again wait. She prepared prasad and then again served. And instead of correcting like her with like chastisement, Guru Maharaj told her that, I lost my mother in young age, and Krishna is so kind that he gave me so many mothers like you. So when Guru Maharaj told her that, she completely broke down. She said, Guru Maharaj, I made so many mistakes today. You had to wait at airport, you had to wait for prasad, and you came after such a long flight. But the way Guru Maharaj told was so sweet that filled her with so much enthusiasm to serve. And not only that, but even for like Krishna conscious uh, teachings, Guru Maharaj was always like enjoying that mellows. Like one time in Mayapur, he rang his bell, maybe at 1 o'clock. I came, I offered my obeisances. Guru Maharaj said, that person is a nonsense. I said, I don't want to quote his name, but that is a very famous person in India, published on the currency notes. So Guru said, he is nonsense. I was wondering what happened. I don't know. The Guru said he says about brahmacharya, and he have no idea about brahmacharya. And actual brahmacharya rises up, from Mooladhara chakra to our head, and then after head, there is like Krishna's lotus feet, and that's how it goes to the spiritual world. And Guru Maharaj is so much. And then he said, okay, anyway. And then I was not knowing what I'm supposed to do. It was just like, Guru Maharaj is relishing something, like he's relishing his own thing. And I could just be him, and I could just hear it from Guru Maharaj. Like another time in Dubai at Mahesh Prabhu's house, Guru Maharaj sat for Prashad, and after Prashad, they served jalebi. So Guru Maharaj was kind of looking at jalebi for a few minutes, so that Mataji and Prabhuji became scared that maybe it is not up to the mark, and somehow they asked Guru Maharaj, "Is it okay?" So Guru Maharaj said, "Yeah, it's perfect. I was just wondering, just to make jalebi, you have to soak the things, you have to make batter, you have to fry it in ghee, and then you have to make the chasni, and then you have to put it in sugar syrup, and then that's how you make jalebi. How can people say that this world came by chance? I can't understand how foolish people can be." So he was in another mood. Like by seeing jalebi, we never thought like that. We just feel like eating, but Guru is completely another mood. Another time in Bengal, it was just recent, maybe in January this year. Uh, Guru Maharaj was doing one preaching program. First day, 20,000 people came. Second day, 25,000 people came. And the third day was the final day where we were expecting more than 40,000 people to attend Guru Maharaj's program. Under one pandal, all dancing, hearing from Guru Maharaj. So Guru Maharaj was very excited about that program. Somehow on the same day in morning, there were heavy rain. And although they put this waterproof on the pandal, but the water came from uh, below, and it filled pandal. And because many of the people have to travel from villages, since it was raining, it was difficult for them to travel. So organizers were very disturbed that what will happen to today's program. We are expecting 40,000 people, and they were preparing prasad already. And they went to Guru Maharaj, and they said, "Guru Maharaj, I don't know. We don't know what to do. This rain is coming. How people will come?" And then Guru Maharaj turned the whole thing in a very different way. He said, I was also thinking about it. He said, you see, Surya, sun, and Indra, they never go along together. They will always disturb each other. Like, see, Indra's son is uh, like Indra's son is Karna, no, Arjun, and Surya's son is Karna. They never go along together. In the same way, Sugriv and Bali, they never go along together. Sugriv is Surya's son, Bali is Indra's son. They never go along together. But when Hanuman was hurt by Indra's Vajra and he fell down, all demigods came together. That time Indra was there, Surya was there. All demigods together came and blessed Hanuman. So he said, if you will have some separate agenda, these demigods will always have clashes, they will disturb you. But if you will purely serve Krishna, everybody will come together and they will help you. And within 1 hour, this all clouds cleared, and it was a beautiful program. Thousands of people came, and Guru Maharaj was so happy. Those videos are there on internet. How thousands of devotees are dancing in front of Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj is so happy. So Guru Maharaj gives such a beautiful philosophical aspect to that situation also, because he is relishing those pastimes inside. Like one day, generally when Guru Maharaj travels in car, he will call different devotees, he will discuss different things. That's the time he will solve many of the managerial issues. But like one day when we were traveling from Sanford to Deland Farm, it's almost 45 minutes drive. So Guru Maharaj suddenly, like on his own, he started to sing Jai Radhe, Jai Krishna, Jai Vrindavan. And he closed his eye for 45 minutes. He was singing that song, repeating again and again. He was singing that song. And when we reached, after we reached Guru Maharaj, just he realized that we reached that farm. He opened his eyes and said, "See, this song is so wonderful. He transports us to Vrindavan." So although apparently externally Guru Maharaj was like dealing with shavels and chainsaw and other things at D-Land. But then internally he was relishing, Vrindavan and Radha Krishna's, the mellow of Radha Krishna's pastimes. So that's how, like I was thinking about Rasa Plutam. Then final is Prabhupada Gata Prana. Of course, we all know this, how Guru Maharaj is so attached to Srila Prabhupada. We all can speak on it. But a few examples which I witnessed. Like one time when Guru Maharaj was in South Africa, in Cape Town, Guru Maharaj had a very successful preaching program. And so many whites came, and Guru Maharaj was so happy. He was staying at Raghavan Prabhu's house, and at night, Guru Maharaj came and he sat on the dinner table, and all devotees were there. Himangi Chaitanya Prabhu was there. From America, Geeta Kirti Mataji and the children were there. And then from London, Sri Radharaman Prabhu and his wife was there. Shyamananda Prabhu from Cape Town was there. So all devotees were just like around Guru Maharaj, and they were appreciating Guru Maharaj. So nice program and this and that. And then Radharaman Prabhu said that, Guru Maharaj, we will arrange an award for you. I don't remember exactly which award he told, but he said, we will arrange this award for you because your preaching is so perfect and that will enhance your glories. And then Guru Maharaj immediately told that, can this award be given to someone who already left his body? So he became confused. He checked on Google or something. He came back, yes, that is possible. So Guru Maharaj said, then that award should be given to Srila Prabhupada. Because it is because of Srila Prabhupada that I am doing what I am doing. So immediately Guru Maharaj, turned it. And then when he went to take rest, like he already lied down, then switched off lights and everything, about to sleep. And Guru Maharaj said that, when Srila Prabhupada came to South Africa, he asked that, where are South Africans? So today, after this program, I'm sure that Prabhupada will be very pleased. There are 70% whites who attended today's program. I'm sure Prabhupada will be very pleased. So Guru Maharaj's constant thought was always like how to please Srila Prabhupada, how to make him happy. Like recently when he was in Ujjain, one day he said, call all managers. So he called all board member, Bhakti Prem Maharaj also he called, everybody was 6, 7 of them were sitting. I was also there. Then Guru Maharaj said, what if I renounce my pranam mantra? Is that okay for all of you? So everybody was perplexed, and Guru Maharaj, we didn't understand that, we feel connected to you when we chant your pranam mantra. So Guru Maharaj is saying that if you have relation with Bhakti Prem Maharaj, do you need pranam mantra for that? You have relationship with your temple president, do you need pranam mantra for that? And then he said, a child has a relationship with father, does he need pranam mantra for that? So Guru Maharaj is kind of cutting out all the logic. And then we said, Guru Maharaj, we need for deity worship. So Guru Maharaj said, you can use Om Agyanti Mirandasya mantra. All gurus come in that. So then finally told Guru Maharaj, it is not possible for us. The Guru Maharaj said, no, you see, you are first connected with Srila Prabhupada, so you should chant his pranam mantra. And I came later, so my pranam mantra is not that important. So he was always so much focusing on how to put Srila Prabhupada in center, how to give prominence to Srila Prabhupada. Like, this was like Guru Maharaj giving one dictation that what happened after Srila Prabhupada left. And he was dictating this paragraph, I'll just read that. And that, Guru Maharaj, how much Guru Maharaj felt, after Prabhupada left. Guru Maharaj writes that after Srila Prabhupada left this planet, my world became completely void. My existence became devoid of any meaning, and I lost all interest to do anything. Sometimes I would try to translate, but whatever I tried to do, I used to hear Srila Prabhupada's voice, correcting my translation, instructing me personally how to improve. It was not a dream. My vision would become blur and I couldn't do anything. My mind actually used to drift away into the memory of those days when I was physically with Srila Prabhupada. So Guru Maharaj is always like so much conscious of Srila Prabhupada. Like one time in the GBC body, he was presenting one thing, that how he was confused over one topic. Guru Maharaj was chairman at that time. And Guru Maharaj mentioned that he was confused about something. And he asked Srila Prabhupada, and he heard Prabhupada answering. And Guru Maharaj, actually, he made me type all these dialogues. Guru Maharaj read those dialogues, they're exact. Guru Maharaj said, I asked Prabhupada this, and Prabhupada answered me this. Then I again clarified, no, Prabhupada, this is the exact problem. Prabhupada will give answer to that. And it was like a dialogue between Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. So he was always so connected with Srila Prabhupada. Like one time, Radha Sundari Mataji asked Guru Maharaj that, Guru Maharaj, do you have any personal belonging of Srila Prabhupada with you? So Guru Maharaj said, yes, I carry Srila Prabhupada along with all his paraphernalia in my heart. So, so Guru Maharaj has such a deep connection with Srila Prabhupada that we can see in his all lectures. When I was new, I used to wonder why Guru Maharaj just brings in Prabhupada in all lectures. But that is sign of love. The Guru Maharaj loved Prabhupada so much that he gave prominence everywhere to Prabhupada's position, to Prabhupada's existence in our life. One Mataji was sharing, one Prabhupada disciple actually, she was sharing that when Prabhupada left this world, she was very disturbed about one thing. And she used to cry and she was very much disturbed. So after a couple of days, she got a dream of Srila Prabhupada. So she asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I'm very disturbed about one thing. So Prabhupada said, okay, you ask what happened. So Mataji asked that, Prabhupada, why did you leave when your close servants were not close, around you? Like what happened exactly is when Prabhupada was leaving his body, Guru Maharaj, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Jayapataka Maharaj went in another room to discuss something. And exactly when they went, Prabhupada left his body, so they had to rush back. So this Mataji asked Srila Prabhupada in dream, Prabhupada, why did you leave like that? So Prabhupada said that is Tamal Krishna, Bhakti Charu, Jayapataka, they love me so much. I couldn't leave in front of them. So when they went away, I left. So when I think about Guru Maharaj, that like he was in Ujjain, he was so happy, he was giving lectures, everybody was so ecstatic. But then he went to America in that hospital, he left. I was thinking that when we were around Guru Maharaj, like when we were not wearing shoes, Guru Maharaj was more concerned. Oh, you're not wearing shoes, you'll feel cold. Like we are not affected, but Guru Maharaj is feeling pain seeing our pain. In the same way, Guru Maharaj cannot see our pain, what we will experience when he will leave. So in this, considering that Guru Maharaj chose that type of departure, but who can forget, that love, that affection that Guru Maharaj gave so many of us so personally over so many years. Like Ramanacharya, when he was leaving from Sri Rangam, all devotees were so sad. They told Ranganath, Lord Vishnu, they prayed to Lord Vishnu that, Lord Vishnu, you are above three modes. So you don't know our miseries because you are above three modes. But your pure devotee Ramanujacharya is with us. He know our pain. He know how we struggle in our spiritual life. How can you take away, his company from us? So in the same way, Guru Maharaj was with us. He was encouraging us, and now also he is surely there with his instructions. And as Guru Maharaj gives so much love, so much affection, when we follow his instruction, he can feel proud that he could offer such wonderful devotees to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj used to tell in Ujjain that when I'll go back to Srila Prabhupada, I can tell him that I can engage 2-4 people in your service. But when now Prabhupada will see thousands of people getting inspired from Guru Maharaj, taking his teachings, serving his mission, Guru Maharaj will be very happy to see that. Hare Krishna. So I beg forgiveness that above my adhikar, above my level, so many things. Please forgive me. You all are my elder uh, Shiksha Gurus. So please bless me that I can follow Guru Maharaj's instructions and become humble servant of Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kishore Prabhu. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you taking the time. I'm not sure if any of the devotees have any questions for you. If you have time to answer them. Ranga Chaitanya, you got two devices on you. Put one off.
Rather reduce the one.
Sorry.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, you can speak.
Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much. It was so blissful to hear you. Thank you so much for your wonderful service to Gurudev. In such a wonderful devotee, selfless service. I want you to tell us about the past time before Guru Maharaj left Ujjain and there was a car waiting down for you. Can you hear me?
When Guru Maharaj
Yeah,
was that time?
Yes. You know, when your father sent a car for you?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know, devotees are time on because already I passed 1 hour.
it's okay, Prabhu. It's fine.
Actually, there were some problems at my house. Long time, my family was never in favor of me becoming a temple devotee. So there were always problems in my initiation and other things also. So when they first met Guru Maharaj in Mayapur, that time I recently joined Guru Maharaj in traveling. It was only 1 month. And then Guru Maharaj tricked them. He said, I'm just taking him for 3 or 4 years and then I leave. So now exactly 3.5 years after Guru Maharaj left this world. But anyway, that time we were not expecting that. So now they were having that calculation that already 3.5 years passed, and now I should go back to home. So they were pressurizing me from long time, and then at one point they sent a car, and it was standing in front of temple. And I didn't tell Guru Maharaj, then Guru Maharaj saw from window, he saw there is a car standing right in front of temple. So Guru Maharaj asked me, whose car is that? I said, Guru Maharaj, my father sent this car. He's standing outside. So Guru Maharaj said, what happens? I told him, Guru Maharaj is knowing these issues. So Guru Maharaj said, no, if they send the car, you should go. And then he was sitting on a chair, but he stood up and he said that, you see, be bold now. Ball is in your court. And as Prabhupada told me, offer this life to Krishna, I'm also telling, offer your life to Krishna. You must have seen some faults in me. I may make many mistakes, but I can assure you that Srila Prabhupada is completely faultless. And then Guru Maharaj saying that you must have seen Srila Prabhupada. So he told Guru Maharaj, actually we see Srila Prabhupada through you. Then Guru Maharaj said, no, I am sure that if you will serve nicely, one day you will see Srila Prabhupada. And then Guru Maharaj said, if in 15 days, he said 10 or 15 days, if your father doesn't send you back, I'll send my car to pick you up. So that's how Guru Maharaj encouraged me, and then I could come back after 15 days and then join Guru Maharaj to travel to Mumbai. So like that, Guru Maharaj encouraged.
Prabhanu Prabhu, I want Krishna Kishore Prabhu to take another 10-15 minutes and give us the pastime of how Guru Maharaj Bapu was in Mayapur. Just last 10-15 minutes. Devotees will appreciate that.
No problem, Prabhu. We're happy. Whole night you can sit there, Prabhu. Please.
Krishna Kishore Prabhu. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Actually, it was very difficult time because before Guru Maharaj left, we were not sure that hospital will give Guru Maharaj Bapu or not. There were talks, and we were told from GBC that we should not think about it, it is not possible, and maybe we should think about cremation. And of course, they gave guidelines. They said all Shad Goswamis were cremated, and don't worry, it's not out of parampara. But still, the feeling was not good. We were not feeling good that it should happen. And finally, when Guru Maharaj left, uh, devotees arranged for Guru Maharaj to come. There are a lot of team of devotees from UK and other parts. They were from and they arranged to come. But whole journey took more than 9 days. Like Guru Maharaj left on the 4th and he went in Samadhi on 13th. So this journey, like Guru Maharaj had to travel from Orlando to New York, from New York to Delhi, Delhi to Calcutta, and then he stayed in Calcutta for that night, and then morning he came to Mayapur. So there were talks in Mayapur. They were saying that no, government won't allow. You should give samadhi within the box or within the plastic packet. And it was very heartbreaking to hear all that, because a devotee like Guru Maharaj, how we can just, give in box or something. So it was very difficult. So then we expressed that to the Mayapur management, and they said no, from government, there's strict guidelines. Nobody can touch Guru Maharaj, only a few people, they'll wear PP kit, and then only they can touch Guru Maharaj. And that too, just the box. And you have to take the box and give samadhi in the box. So we were not sure what is going to happen. So Guru Maharaj actually, before that, when he went to Mayapur, during GBC meeting, he called Baninath Prabhu from airport and he said, see, when I come to Mayapur, you all do so big reception, so grand reception. 400, 500 devotees come, they receive me. I don't like that. Because so many of my godbrothers are there in Mayapur. And if you give me such treatment, how they will feel? So from now on, whenever I come to Mayapur, there should be no reception. So this time when Guru Maharaj came, there was nobody. Nobody was allowed. Before that, one day before, just to dig Guru Maharaj's Samadhi pit, there were 2,500 people. Only Mayapur residents, because they locked the temple 2 days ago, and nobody was allowed. So 2,500 resident devotees, not a single devotee left out. They all came, they lined up, and they digged Guru Maharaj's Samadhi pit one by one. But next day it was completely sealed. There were 4 or 5 layers of security. Nobody can come near Guru Maharaj because they had government restrictions. So when Guru Maharaj came, there was nobody to receive as per his desire. And the ambulance took Guru Maharaj, took the parikrama of Prabhupada's Samadhi. Then they took Guru Maharaj in front of Narsingh altar outside near Garuda. Jayapataka Goswami Maharaj came down on the first floor, and there was this railing. So he took that railing and stood up, and holding that railing, he stood up, he offered arati, offered flowers to Guru Maharaj. And then finally Guru Maharaj's ambulance came to the point where we were waiting. So now we were not sure what to do. Because government people came, police came, they checked we are in proper PP kit or not. So we went ahead, 6 of us, we went ahead. They said, they made Dayaram Prabhu sign, that you will not open the box and you will just follow government rules. At most you can open the face and see. That's what they said. So the management agreed. Finally we took Guru Maharaj inside. And everybody was fearful what will be the condition, because it's already 9 days past when Guru Maharaj left. So nobody was sure what will be the condition of Guru Maharaj Bapu. So we were told that just open little bit and see what is the condition. So when we opened the box, we took Guru Maharaj out with a plastic cover. We opened that cover. So Guru Maharaj was like as bright as he always was. We opened the whole packet. The senior devotees told, just throw out that plastic cover. So we threw it out. And the Guru Maharaj was so bright. so effulgent, as he was always, as if, Guru Maharaj just resting. And we took out the socks. The feet were as soft. Many of the devotees here, I'm sure they touched Guru Maharaj's feet, gave him massage. So his feet was exactly like that, soft and bright. His hands were open. Nothing was curved, like they say, in modern, like, generally it happens to people who leave their bodies. The fingers get closed, they get stiff, the legs get curved. Nothing to Gurma. Gurma's hands were completely open and soft, and he was as if like resting. So we put like new clothes and tilak and everything. We put garlands, and like Gurma was like as if Gurma is ready to give a lecture or something. And then finally, senior devotees told that we should take Guru Maharaj inside. So they said that we should give Guru Maharaj Samadhi in lying position because we are not sure we'll be able to make Guru Maharaj sit. But then one senior devotee said that no, at least we should try. Because if Guru Maharaj's hands are soft, his lotus feet are soft, it is possible that he can sit. So when we tried, easily Guru Maharaj, legs bent and he sat in a lotus position. And everybody was shocked. How is possible after 9 days? And that too, Guru Maharaj was on, such strict medical care, and the virus affected the body and things. But then, apparently, all these external considerations were not at all significant. When we saw Guru Maharaj shining, his hands and legs are soft, his whole body is like flexible, we could move. Guru Maharaj sat in lotus position, and then we dressed Guru Maharaj with uh, Radha Madhav's Maha dress, and then Radharani's jewelry, Tulsi garlands, lotus garlands. Guru Maharaj looked so beautiful and bright. They don't want to release the videos because of government restriction, but I'm sure in near future they should do that. Guru Maharaj looked so bright and beautiful and aristocratic as usually. He was so attractive, as to say. And then somehow in Guru Maharaj's quarters in Ujjain, we had one box in which there was original dust and salt from Prabhupada's Samadhi. When Guru Maharaj gave Samadhi to Srila Prabhupada, from that time that salt and dust was there. And the last water which Srila Prabhupada drank, Guru Maharaj gave him from one cup. We can see in that video final lesson, the Guru Maharaj gives some water to Srila Prabhupada. That Yamuna water, last water, is still preserved, and the dust and salt is still preserved. It was there in Guru Maharaj's room. So somehow Krishna gave that intelligence. We carried that to Mayapur, and last moment we gave it then in Guru Maharaj's hand, because Guru Maharaj had that desire. He wrote in Ocean of Mercy that he wanted to be with Srila Prabhupada in the Samadhi. Tamal Krishna Maharaj pulled him out. So we believe that by receiving that proper Vaishnav Samadhi, sitting in Mayapur Dham where Guru Maharaj joined, and with his godbrothers facing Srila Prabhupada's Pushpa Samadhi, on the occasion of Incorporation Day of ISKCON, 13 July 1966, Srila Prabhupada incorporated ISKCON, and with having Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi, dust and salt, and the last water Srila Prabhupada drank, Guru Maharaj got proper respect which a pure devotee should get. And then one time Guru Maharaj told Radha Sundari Mataji, she just asked jokingly many years ago, that Guru Maharaj, when you leave, where we should have your Samadhi, or something like that. And Guru Maharaj said, no, I would just follow Narottam Das Thakur's example. I'll just go in Ganga. So Mataji told Guru Maharaj, anyway Guru Maharaj, when you will not be there, we will decide. So they brought mud and soil from Ganga, and that's how Guru Maharaj got Ganga soil and everything, and a proper Samadhi. Who can imagine in the midst of pandemic, We can bring Guru Maharaj from America to Mayapur and Guru Maharaj get proper samadhi, but Krishna arranged everything for his pure devotee. And Guru Maharaj used to say in lecture that how a pure devotee, when he leaves, it is completely different. He doesn't live like an ordinary person. And by Guru Maharaj's final darshan, final touch, we could feel that Guru Maharaj is as bright as he was always. He proved that he is not an ordinary person. He is pure devotee of Krishna. So that was some experience I had there in my Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Of
Thank
course,
you.
just one thing, many devotees helped to bring Guru Maharaj because it was a very difficult task. So Atmaram Prabhu, Ananda Krishna Prem Prabhu, Sandipan Krishna Prabhu, Naveen Krishna Prabhu, Rasbihari Krishna Prabhu, and Dayaram Prabhu from Delhi, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, Radharaman from Prabhu from Calcutta. Many devotees worked hard, sleepless nights to bring Guru Maharaj there, and then Guru Maharaj could get this proper respect which he deserved. So that was some experience I wanted to share. Hare Krishna.
One last question, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
I heard that you had a dream a few days after Samadhi ceremony. That Guru Maharaj came to you in a dream.
Actually, that was Guru Maharaj, whenever he used to like call, that time, if it is night and I am sleeping, Guru Maharaj never rang his bell. So Guru Maharaj used to come in room, used to open the door and like in a specific tone, he used to call my name, like for waking up. So that type of experience I had. Guru Maharaj came and woke me up. I don't know what was the meaning, but that happened many times. One time I saw that Guru Maharaj became all right. He came back to Ujjain. Everything started again. We are serving Guru Maharaj again. So, yeah, Guru Maharaj is here. We just need to see him through his Vani. I was hearing Guru Maharaj's lecture, and it never occurred to me before. I heard from Guru Maharaj, but never it occurred to me before. I heard it recently after Guru Maharaj's departure. Guru Maharaj said that when a Jnani or when a Ashtanga Yogi, when they achieve perfection, they see four-handed Vishnu in their heart. And when a devotee get perfection, and I was wondering now, Guru Maharaj will say maybe Shyam Sundar Krishna or some Madan Mohan or something. But Guru Maharaj didn't tell that. Guru Maharaj said, when a devotee gets perfection, devotee sees his spiritual master in his heart. I was so, I got so much solace and so much confidence that yes, if we follow nicely, maybe one day we can again get Guru Maharaj's association.
Yeah.
Krishna,
Thank you.
Krishna Kishore Prabhu, one more, please. Tell us just before Guru Maharaj left from Ujjain, how he gave away his, clothings and all the belongings to the devotees. Please, and how he spent time with all the Ujjain devotees. Please, Prabhu.
It was so sweet. Actually, it was a festival every day. We could never imagine how Guru Maharaj is reciprocating with each and every devotee. Like in last 15 years, I don't think Guru Maharaj met with all devotees like that. He's told me after 2-3 days of coming to Ujjain, it was in March, Guru Maharaj said, make a list. I want to meet each and every devotee personally. And we have 100 brahmacharis in temple. Every day, Guru Maharaj used to meet 3-4 brahmacharis individually. He used to ask from where they belong and when they joined. Some of them joined like 2 decades back, but first time Guru Maharaj is meeting them so personally. And Guru Maharaj is asking how are your parents now and how is your service in temple and what are the difficulties you face. They shared their heart, Guru Maharaj solved their problems. And when the brahmacharis were over, then Guru Maharaj said call families. And then 2 families used to come and meet Guru Maharaj personally. And Guru Maharaj used to hear them. Every devotee in Ujjain, Guru Maharaj personally met. And then there were so many issues, like legally we were facing in temple. There was some trust. Guru Maharaj was signer, but since Guru Maharaj was traveling and the other signers were not also available, Guru Maharaj himself called this time. He said, you know, I am in so many trusts, I don't stay in Ujjain. Better I change the directors. And he appointed new directors and everything. We never knew what is going to happen, but then Guru Maharaj was preparing everything. Like he made new directors and everything. He changed so many things. Then in Pujari department, in our Pujaris, they always used to think that in summertime Guru Maharaj is never in India, and in summertime, this mogra flower, which is so favorite to Guru Maharaj. See, if Guru Maharaj will be in Ujjain in summertime, we can offer this mogra garland. So this time Guru Maharaj is there all the time. So this was a new schedule. Like in evening, one pujari used to come with this mogra garland. He used to offer it to Guru Maharaj. No matter whatever Guru Maharaj is doing in office, it was like open access. Just go inside, offer garland to Guru Maharaj, then Guru Maharaj will talk to that pujari. So all pujaris got that chance one by one. They went in Guru Maharaj's room personally. Some of them never spoke to Guru Maharaj. They can never imagine that they could deal with Guru Maharaj like that. Somebody who is very humble, very simple, cooking sweets in kitchen, never even our devotees may not know him, like Ujjain devotees. When Guru Maharaj tasting sweet one day, he said, who is the devotee who makes sweet? Call him. Then Guru Maharaj called him, he was speaking to him, and he was not able to speak in like because he was so scared being in front of Guru Maharaj for the first time. The Guru Maharaj said, no, no, don't worry. And then Arunaksha Prabhu was translating for him. So every devotee Guru Maharaj dealt so personally. He went in the deity altar. He applied Chandan to Madan Mohan personally. He went in each and every office. He asked them what they are doing, how is their office work going. He went to the apartment devotees. We have apartments next to the temple. Personally, he went. He said, I want to meet them. They all came. Guru Maharaj went to the apartment in their houses. He went to Chandramukhi Mata's house. He went to Rup Garpo's apartment. He met all of them. Then, personally, Guru Maharaj used to call devotees who lead Kirtan in temple. He used to tell them how to sing Saregama, everything. And then one day, Guru Maharaj said, I want to distribute my clothes. So Guru Maharaj so many sweaters, so many gifts, so many things. Actually, what happened is Guru Maharaj one day chastised me. One day he came to his balcony, and in that veranda in the balcony, a lot of mopping clothes drying on the ground, on the floor. So Guru Maharaj said, why they are here? So I knew Guru Maharaj will chastise me. So I was like giving some excuse. I said, Guru Maharaj, actually there's sunlight coming here, so we are drying in sunlight and something. So Guru Maharaj was not happy with my answer. He said, you can't keep your spiritual master's place like that. He never spoke like that before. First time he told. He said, this is your spiritual master's place. You can't keep it like that. They consider that only my bedroom is my room. But no, this whole area is my